Hey guys, Zeteo here. Today we're taking a look at a replay analysis. This is an 8v8 review submitted to the Academy from Railgun. And this is on Flats and Force. Let's take a look at what's going on here. Let's see, unpause and do that. Okay. All right, so this is Flats and Force. The main concern is how do you get fast T2 on this map? How does Red do it? Because Red gets a really fast T2. So to start with, I'm going to keep it on Railgun's perspective here, but then as we move on to that stage of the game, we're going to take a look at what Red's doing as well. All right, so opening here, I mean, I'm going to speed up a little bit because, you know, it's a 30 OS player. They should know how to open pretty well, so... All right, so 2 solars here, 3 solars, okay. Now, I do want to point out that you can do wind on this map. The wind will be more cost efficient, but you need a lot of wind if you're going to do that. So solar is a great opener for this map because you got these bigger mexes to work with, and you got 4 of them. So you start with a little bit more metal than usual. So you note, like, there is 3 solars here, but still has a chunk of metal to work with. So as long as they don't add on a lot of extra solars at this point, they should be able to afford a nano here pretty soon. Yeah, so just getting a nano after that. So yeah, it's pretty typical kind of thing. That's how I like to open. You do have some scouts on the front, some ticks to just kind of see what's going on. That's great. You know, just seeing stuff moving across the map and being able to like switch what your lab's building accordingly can be really helpful. All right, so you see some rovers. You maneuver around, so you know what's there. It's more on your allies' side, so I suppose just kind of looking out for that. Your ticks are now moving forward to see what Red's doing. And now the commander's moving out. Whoops. Now the commander's moving out with that nano done. And yeah, lots of wind turbines, so this is great because especially in 8v8, you don't really want a lot of solar. You want a lot of winds. And you know, plenty of energy storages to go with it. You do have a resbot out as well to get those trees, so all good stuff so far with the commander moving out to do some stuffs. So yeah, speeding up a little bit more to just get this moving a little bit. All right, so these pawns, I mean, right now they're just kind of like watching what's going on. I don't know, I suppose that's fine. Like, you just are trying to be protective. You're not trying to, you know, if you run in there and and they all get destroyed, then you're just leaving wrecks behind, and that's not great. So I understand wanting to keep them back a bit. But if you're going to be this defensive with it, it does feel like you could start moving into like rocket bots or something. You could start moving into something a little bit heavier and try to get away with that. All right, so you do see a bit of a pawn blitz, or I guess mostly blitz attack here. This gets a little dicey on this map. Like raids, of course, can do a lot because the map's so open and big. So yeah, you're just trying to, I guess, make sure that these don't get through. Unfortunately, they look like they are going to get through. But yeah, your main threat is actually down here. But yeah, you guys need to deal with this as a team. Chasing is not great. This is never really going to catch up. Instead, I would try to position the new guys coming out of here, and you're not using repeat, by the way. I highly recommend it. I use it. I understand there's a reason not to use it, but
Commander has fallen.
You do need to go back and macro every once in a while then, and that gets really tricky and annoying and difficult sometimes. Because in this kind of scenario, it's like you want guys to be popping out and setting up like right here. Or like coming at those blitzes from this direction. You don't really want to be chasing. So all these pawns back here are basically never going to catch up. So it's just like moving your entire army to respond to something that'll never be able to actually like help out with. So I don't really suggest that. Instead, I would suggest pressuring here with them since they were in this region. And then trying to use reinforcements to do that because they'll come in from a better angle. And yeah, these blitzes even able to like run up here and then double back and like split off like this. Like, this is a really nice move from Tan. It's the kind of move that I'll do where I'll split off like that. But yeah, this can be some damage on you because you're chasing from back here. So yeah, I would highly suggest just pressuring at the fronts, or getting yourself set up here like you are. And yeah, trying to spend that metal, of course, too. I mean, the beamer, I suppose, I mean, it's not ideal, but like, if you need to, you can, build one to help defend here. But yeah, you're transitioning into vehicle, which is great. Whistler, a good unit to have, but at the same time, they're not going to be able to catch up to stuff. So I suppose that's one reason to have some extra pawns lying around, like you built it in the early game. And now with this transition kind of complete, with these 2 nanos done, you're going to be able to produce quite a few Whistlers here, which is going to be really nice. Same time, though, these blitzes can jump on this, so it gets a little dicey. The commander's here to protect them, though, so they're not going to get too close here. So that's actually a nice little maneuver here to be protected by that commander and get those blitzes out of there and just build up that Whistler ball. And now you're moving into medium tanks, which is fine. I mean, it's more of a pushing kind of thing, whereas Whistlers are a little bit more of a, just take some chip damage and slowly whittle them down kind of force. You do have some pawns left over still. I think those were just all the chasing pawns. And yeah, I mean, you got all your mexes and stuff. So really the main threat is this right here. And unfortunately, red is up against one of the lower OS players in this match for your team. So it's really up to you to help them out. Make sure that they don't just lose all their units and get destroyed. I missed it. Okay, I did watch this replay ahead of time, so I know that there's a commander here. And you might not have known that, but there was a commander that died and red got all the medals. So that's how they're affording this T2 lab. And also note that they just have pawns here. So they're not really investing a ton of money into units. They just have those fast units to be able to deal with any kind of raid or any kind of attack. Whereas your force is more of a, I'm going to slowly whittle you down kind of force. And then, you do have some raiders in here as well, so this is kind of nice to be able to do maneuvers like this, get some medium tanks in to push through, and then have your pawns follow them up, and just get some extra damage in with them. So this is actually quite nice that you're pushing forward like this, and red's kind of scrambling to get some defenses up so that they don't lose all their economy here. But they already have T2. And this seems really fast, but it is 10 minutes into the game. And, your allies have some T2 as well. I don't think Barcast got a commander wreck. In fact, there's one sitting here, but he has, no one's able to claim that right now. So, I mean, it's certainly possible to get T2 pretty fast, but it's really about just, trying to get away with less, essentially. And red is getting away with not that much at all. You've pulled his army back here to defend the main base, which is great, but there's nothing really poking here. So these Whistlers could certainly be poking this location. And just kind of, like looking at this, like red does not have a lot to defend you. There's 2 commanders, there's red and orange. But in a way, it's sort of like they're holding both of you hostage with not much. And I think that's part of just being the red player and being like the higher level player in these matches. Like, players are somewhat afraid of attacking you, so you can kind of get away with a little bit more just because you are the red player. Let's see, blue does not have, okay, yeah, blue does not have a T2, but Barcast does. So hopefully Barcast is sharing T2 with blue at some point to just help them out. But yeah, actually it looks like they have had quite a bit of a battle here. So yeah, Quaker, I think, just shot his buddy there, unfortunately, but yeah, Barcast is sharing some units to the blue player here too. But yeah, red is getting away with a lot here. He's building a fusion. Fusions are great on this map. Like wind is great, but like fusions are of course a little bit better, a little bit more efficient. But it takes a minute to build it. But with that commander, the commander that he aids, he has that extra metal line around. So he's using that to upgrade his mexes, get his fusion going, already producing a lot of T2 units. Now, these are cheaper T2 units. Jaguars are not that expensive. Mausers are not that expensive. So, just able to get away with stuff like that. Meanwhile, you're just kind of sitting on your T1 still. And unfortunately, you didn't really do much damage to the Tan player, which, I don't know, I guess in my opinion, that would have been a nice nice to be able to do that. Like if you were able to send some blitzes over here to do some damage, just because like, you know, it's like you haven't really worn them down at all, and so now you're still dealing with red and tan. So yeah, it's just kind of a tricky situation. And then yeah, with this gauntlet, you know, it's going to be able to like poke your front door, so like you kind of want to get rid of it because it's so close to your stuff. But yeah, that can be really annoying because there's a commander here defending it. There's really not that much to defend it overall, but yeah, the commander getting some nice D-guns off on these tanks of yours is really hurting you. Also, your macro is really kind of hurting you too. Just not using that repeat key, I think, is kind of a big deal because your metal is like these could have been units, and if you didn't get those units D-guns, if you had some Mausers out with them or something, like you'd be able to just push this commander back. So I don't know, it's just like a difference in like the units that you have. You're like really trying for this commander, but you're getting a little too close to it. So it's somewhat of a micro issue of just getting too close, using things like Jaguars to get in there one at a time. It's not going to really do all that much. And this commander is able to cloak and continue D-gunning. So I don't know. This is just kind of rough. Kidro doing a really nice job here of just keeping you back like that.
Commander died.
Apparently lots of commanders are dying. Red's developing a lot of units here to push with, and that's it's just not great for you. You know, you're just a little bit behind because of the later T2, and that's really going to hurt you here, especially since you're dealing with this gauntlet and trying to deal with all that. So really, because of how the OS is dispersed between the two teams, like the red team has a nice power here. The red and orange player together, and the yellow player, like right up here, just able to do a lot in this region. Whereas you guys have mostly your high OS down here. You have your green player at the top, but yeah, these guys together are not able to really do too much, and I think Barcast and the blue player are doing too little in a way. Like they kind of need to be able to push harder, especially knowing that this is kind of falling apart at the north. And then yeah, you're also kind of falling apart down here. Yeah, you lost your lab and stuff, unfortunately. Trying to find like where the wrecks are from the lab. I mean, I guess it was all over here somewhere. I don't know. I'm just surprised I don't see a big crater where the lab would be. So yeah, you're just kind of erased really quickly there. But yeah, that bit of extra metal from the commander certainly helped Red get this out a lot faster. And, you know, you were putting a lot of metal into those tanks and things that came in for that raid. But, you know, when it comes to someone like, you know, someone at a 38 OS, like they're going to be able to rebuild. They're going to be able to make the right choices to, you know, make their economy just fine after something like that. So, you know, Reds, even though they lost a little bit of you know, wind turbines, like it's really not that big a deal. It probably wasn't worth it to actually lose those units for that.
Commander has fallen.
Now, I mean, granted, it could have been. Like, you could have gotten in there, destroyed all the winds. Red just did too good of a job defending it, so you're just behind because of that. And unfortunately, with the commander loss, again, I got to keep pointing that out, just like losing that, or you know, Red able to get the commander wreck and support building a T2 rather quickly. Allowed him to get his T2 mexes a lot faster and just have a lot more economy to pump out a lot more units. So, you know, your team just kind of struggling because of that. I mean, Barcast and Blue are trying to do what they can, but I mean, the real story is like up here in a way. I mean, obviously Red's push and Orange coming up here doing a lot as well in this region. But if this survived, then you guys would still at least have a chance as long as you like help secure this and didn't die. Then maybe Barcast and the blue player here, Vanaja. Sorry if I'm pronouncing your name incorrectly, but yeah, I mean, you guys just needed to hold out, and it didn't happen primarily because of the bastard T2 because of that wreck. And then just, you know, putting a lot of money into the raid that you did. You just had those units around, whereas Red was able to just kind of cut cost and survive just fine. So yeah, I feel like I'm kind of you know, harping on the same thing here again and again. But yeah, I mean, just being more efficient with, or you know, having that wreck and being more efficient with, like basically not building units for a little while, so that he was able to get up a fusion, able to get up his T2 mexes faster, and then start really cranking out units.
Ended.
So yeah, Red just able to do a lot of stuff that way. Anyways, I hope you learned something from that. There's really, I don't know if there's anything really else to talk about in this replay. But yeah, if you have any questions, let me know, and I'll get back to you about it. Thanks for watching.